AITA for leaving my husband and stepdaughter stranded on Christmas when I found out he gave her my big Christmas gift? I'm sitting here trying to figure out if I overreacted or not. Let me start from the beginning because honestly, this whole thing has been building up for years. My husband is absolutely terrible at giving gifts. I'm not exaggerating. It's not just bad, it's non-existent most of the time. The first birthday we spent together, he didn't even say the words happy birthday until I brought it up around dinner. No card, no flowers, nothing. When I asked him why he didn't get me anything, he said he forgot. I let it go because I thought maybe he just wasn't good at birthdays. Some people aren't. Then came our anniversary. I bought him a watch, made him dinner, and even got a little card with a heartfelt note. He said thanks, and that was it. No reciprocation, not even a cheap grocery store card. I was hurt, but I let it go, thinking maybe he didn't know anniversaries were a big deal to me. Christmas rolled around and I spent hours wrapping gifts for his family. I even made a big Christmas dinner for us at home. Guess what I got? Nothing. He opened the gifts I bought him and said, "Wow, you really went all out this year." That was it. I didn't even get a stocking stuffer. I tried to talk to him about it that night, asking if maybe he just didn't like celebrating holidays or if he thought gifts weren't important. He just said, "You're too old to be upset over presents." At that point, I was furious. It wasn't about the gifts. It was about the fact that he didn't seem to care at all. I told him that and he just ignored it and went to bed. I sat up all night wondering what the hell I was doing in a relationship with someone who thought this was okay. Then there was Valentine's Day. I went out of my way to make it special. I made him his favorite dinner, set the table with candles, and even bought some lingerie to surprise him. He came home, ate the dinner without saying a word about it, and then went straight to watching TV. I brought up the lingerie and he laughed and said, "Oh, is that for me? You didn't have to." He didn't even bother to come upstairs with me. By Mother's Day, I gave up. He didn't get me anything. When I brought it up, he said, "You're not my mom." I remember sitting there thinking, fine, if that's how you're going to be, then I'll match your energy. So when Father's Day came around, I did nothing. No breakfast, no card, no big lunch. Usually I'd drive an hour to pick up his daughter so they could spend the day together. This time I stayed out all day. He called me around noon asking when I was picking her up. I told him I wasn't. "It's Father's Day," he said, "and you're not my father." He blew up at me saying I was being petty and unfair. I hung up on him. I left him a note explaining why I was hurt and why I wasn't putting in any more effort until he started meeting me halfway. After a few days, he apologized and promised to do better. I softened a little, picked up his daughter during the week, and they had dinner together. But things didn't change much. He didn't start putting in effort. He just started telling me to pick out my own gifts and he'd pay for them. At least he's trying, I thought. I didn't realize at the time how low my standards had gotten. Then came Christmas last year. I spent hours picking out gifts for his family, wrapping them and organizing everything. When I asked what he was getting me, he said, "I'll take you to the mall and you can pick something." I didn't even bother anymore. I picked out a sweater and called it a day. This year, though, he surprised me. A week before Christmas, he took me out for breakfast and then to the mall. He let me pick out the designer purse I'd been saving for. I couldn't believe it. I thought, maybe he's finally getting it. I should have known better. Christmas morning was supposed to be easy. We had hosted my family on Christmas Eve and I spent all night cleaning up, so I slept in while my husband got ready. He woke me up right before we were supposed to leave to pick up his daughter, and I barely had time to throw on jeans and a sweater. We got into the car and I passed out almost immediately. I was exhausted from all the prepping, cleaning, and hosting the night before. I didn't even hear him when he stopped to pick her up. When I woke up, we were already on the road heading to his mom's house. I stretched and turned around to say hi to her, and that's when I saw it. She was holding the purse. My purse. I froze for a second, just staring at her. "Where did you get that?" She looked up, then down at the bag like she didn't know what to say. I asked her again, "Where did you get that purse?" She hesitated, then said something I couldn't hear. I looked at my husband. He was gripping the wheel, staring straight ahead like I wasn't even in the car. "Hey, what's going on? Why does she have my purse?" She finally spoke up. "Dad gave it to me." "He what? Are you kidding me right now?" My husband kept driving, pretending like he didn't hear me. I repeated myself. "Did you give her my Christmas present? The purse you bought for me? The one we picked out together?" She really liked it. She said she needed a new bag and I thought it was no big deal. "No big deal? You knew that was my gift, didn't you? And you still took it?" Dad said it was fine. "Pull over." "What?" I said, "Pull over. You have no idea what you've just done, do you? You ruined Christmas for me. That was the only gift I was getting and you gave it away like it was nothing." He finally pulled into a gas station and parked. His daughter immediately got out of the car, taking the purse with her. I turned to him. "Why would you do this? Why would you think this was okay?" She said she really liked it and that I never get her anything nice. "So you take the one thing you got me and give it to her? Are you serious right now? It's just a purse. To you maybe. To me it was something special. Something I picked out for myself? Something you promised was for me. Do you even care about that? Or am I just here to clean up after your family and play hostess while you hand out my things?" He opened his mouth to say something, but I didn't want to hear it. I opened the car door and got out. "Where are you going?" "I'm going for a walk. I can't sit here and look at either of you right now." I walked around the gas station parking lot for a few minutes, trying to figure out what to do. His daughter came out of the store still holding the purse and got back in the car like nothing happened. I stood there for a minute watching her. When I got back in the car, I didn't say anything. I couldn't even look at them. He tried to talk to me again, but I put my hand up and told him to save it. We sat there in silence for what felt like forever before he finally started driving again. I didn't know where we were going, and at that point, I didn't care. We sat there in the car, no one saying a word for what felt like hours. His daughter had the purse on her lap like it was hers all along, and he kept staring at the road like the problem would disappear if he ignored it hard enough. I couldn't take it anymore. I finally said, "You don't think you owe me an explanation? I told you already, she liked it, and I thought it'd make her happy." "You thought giving away the only thing you got for me would make her happy? Are you serious? She's a kid. She's 16, not 6. And what about me? Did it even cross your mind how I'd feel when I saw her with it? Did it even matter? It's just a purse. I'll get you another one." "With what money? You told me you couldn't afford anything else this year. That's why I didn't ask for anything else, remember? That was supposed to be mine. You don't just give away something that isn't yours to give." "She's my daughter. What was I supposed to do, say no to her?" "Yes, you say no. You tell her it's not hers to take. You stand up for me for once." "I didn't think it'd be such a big deal. It's not about the purse, okay? It's about the fact that you didn't even think about me. Again. You never think about me. Do you even know how that feels? To always come last every single time? You are overreacting." "Of course you'd say that. It's not your Christmas that just got ruined, is it?" He didn't say anything. After a while, I told him to stop driving. When he pulled over, I got out of the car and went to a driver's side of the car. "What now?" He said, "Move over." "What?" "I'm driving." He didn't move. "Are you serious right now?" "Move over." He sighed and got out of the car, walking around to the passenger side. His daughter looked confused. She looked at me, then at her dad and said, "What's going on?" "I'm leaving." "Wait, what about me?" "Go with you, father, you'll figure it out," I said, and I drove off without looking back. I didn't go home right away. After leaving them behind, I drove straight to my cousin's house. I didn't even call ahead. When I knocked on the door, she opened it, still in her pajamas, holding a mug of coffee. "Hey, what's up? Aren't you supposed to be at his mom's today?" I pushed past her and sat on her couch. "Not anymore." She sat across from me. "What happened?" I told her everything, the purse, the gas station, the way he kept defending his decision like it was no big deal. She didn't say anything for a while, just listened. When I finished, she leaned back and said, "That's messed up." "You think?" "Seriously though, what are you going to do?" "I don't know." We sat there for a while, not saying much. Her kids ran in and out of the room, yelling about their new toys. It was chaos, but at least it wasn't the kind I'd just left behind. Eventually, I got a call from his mom. I let it go to voicemail. Then I got another, and another. When the fourth call came through, I handed the phone to my cousin. "You answer it." She looked at me like I was crazy, but took the phone. "Hello?" She paused, then said, "No, she's here. No, she's not coming back right now, because she doesn't want to, that's why." Then she hung up and handed the phone back. "Thanks. Don't mention it." I stayed there most of the day. His family kept calling, leaving voicemails about how I'd ruined Christmas. His mom left a particularly nasty one, accusing me of being selfish and petty. "It's just a purse," she said. "You should have let it go for the sake of the holiday." I called her back. "Let me ask you something," I said. "If someone gave you a gift, something you really wanted, and then took it away and gave it to someone else, how would you feel?" "Well, it's different when it's a child." "She's not a child. She's 16. She knew exactly what she was doing." "Well, maybe if you'd gotten her a nice gift too." "She had a pile of gifts under the tree. She wasn't hurting for anything." There was silence on the other end. Then she said, "You still shouldn't have left them." "Maybe he shouldn't have given away my things. Don't call me again." I hung up and turned my phone off. I stayed at my cousin's house until late. By the time I got home, the house was dark and quiet. My son was with his dad for the holidays, so it was just me. I went to bed without turning on the lights. The next morning, I found out from his brother that he and his wife had driven to pick them up. Apparently, his daughter was in tears because she thought I was going to throw away the rest of her gifts. His brother laughed when he told me that. "Like you'd ever do something like that," he said. "She's dramatic, just like her dad. Listen, I'm on your side here, but you've got to talk to him eventually." "Why? So he can tell me again how it's no big deal? How I'm overreacting?" "You're married. You have to figure this out." I didn't say anything. I wasn't sure if there was anything left to figure out. When my husband came home a couple of days later, I barely acknowledged him. He tried to act like everything was fine, but I wasn't having it. I made dinner for myself and my son and left him to fend for himself. He tried to talk to me that night, but I told him I didn't want to hear it. You can't keep ignoring me, he said. Watch me. He slept on the couch that night. A few days after he came back, I was still avoiding him. I kept busy, cleaning, running errands, spending time with my son. If he tried to talk to me, I walked away or pretended I didn't hear him. I wasn't ready to have the conversation. One night I was making dinner when I heard him come into the kitchen. I didn't look up. We need to talk. I kept chopping vegetables. Are you just going to ignore me forever? What do you want me to say? I want you to tell me what you're thinking, what you want to do, because I can't fix this if you won't talk to me. You want to fix this? Give me my purse back. I told you she loves it. I can't just take it back now. You mean you won't? Not that you can't. It's not that simple. It is. It's mine. You gave it to her without asking me, and now you're acting like I'm the problem for being upset about it. Do you even understand what you did? I made a mistake, okay? I thought you'd understand. Understand what? That I don't matter to you? That you'll always put her first, no matter what it costs me? That's not fair. Fair would have been telling her no. Fair would have been treating me like I mattered for once. But you didn't, and now here we are. After that, he just left the room. The next morning, I woke up to find his daughter in the living room. She didn't even say hello, just sat on the couch scrolling through her phone. The purse was sitting next to her like she wanted to rub it in my face. I walked past her to get a cup of coffee. She followed me into the kitchen. Are you mad at me? What do you think? It's not my fault, you know. Dad gave it to me. You knew it wasn't yours. Yeah, but he said it was fine. And you thought that made it okay? Why do you care so much? It's just a purse. It's not about the purse. It's about the fact that you and your dad don't respect me enough to even ask how I'd feel about it. You just take and expect me to smile and deal with it. She gave me a sassy look and walked out of the kitchen. That was it for me. After she left, I packed a bag for me and my son. When my husband came home, I was standing by the door with my coat on. Where are you going? To my cousin's. Don't wait up. Come on, don't do this. I opened the door. If you want to talk, you know where to find me, but until you figure out how to respect me, there's nothing to say. I stayed at my cousin's that night and the next. He called a few times, but I didn't answer. His brother called too, saying I should give him a chance to explain. He's had plenty of chances. I'm done being ignored. Now I'm sitting here trying to decide what to do next. I don't know if this marriage is salvageable, but one thing's for sure. I'm not going back until he gets it through his head that I deserve better. I really hope he gets it, but knowing him, that won't happen. But I know one thing, I am not going to give in. So let's just say I am prepared for everything that might happen. Thanks for watching. If you liked the story, hit subscribe. See you in the next one.